Good evening. The official clock on the wall here at Tooele City Hall saying 7 o'clock. We will call to order the meeting of the Tooele City Planning Commission for Wednesday, June 25th, 2025. First on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you all please rise and say the pledge with me?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda, roll call. Commissioner Hammer.
Here.
Commissioner Proctor.
Here.
Commissioner Sloan.
Here.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Here.
Commissioner Jensen. Commissioner Anderson.
Here.
I'm Commissioner Robinson. I am here. We also recognize Commissioners Dunn and Gossett back there in the back, as well as Mr. Hanson, Ms. Fairborn, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Agard from City Staff, and Councilmember Manzione. We excuse Councilmember Hanson this evening. Next on the agenda, public hearing and decision on a conditional use permit request by Happy Place Daycare to authorize the care of 8 to 16 children at the home located at 647 East, 908 North in the R1 Residential Zoning District. Mr. Agard.
Thank you, Chairman. This conditional use permit applies to the 0.2 acre property highlighted in red on your aerial photograph there on the screen. Property rests immediately south of 1000 North and 980 North. The area is predominantly single-family residential. Property is currently zoned R17 residential, as are the properties surrounding it. There's some R18 zoning to the north of the subject property. The applicant is proposing an in-home daycare involving the care of 8 to 16 children. Under Tooele City ordinances, this is a permitted use with a conditional use permit. Anytime you have 8 to 16 children, that does require the Planning Commission approval. The ordinance does require the applicant to give due consideration to parking and how they will address parking. The applicant did provide this information. It was included in your packets expressing how that they plan to address customer parking. I do want to point out that a daycare differs from a preschool in that daycares are not session oriented like preschools are. So many times the drop off and pickup of children is staggered depending upon the schedules of the guardian and when they need to bring those kids. This is an image of the property showing the driveway. There is enough room in that driveway to accommodate 3 parked cars. There's also enough frontage in front of the home to accommodate another 3 parked cars and other areas thereby that can accommodate the parking. This is an image of the rear of the property. The backyard is entirely fenced with a 6-foot solid vinyl fence. Staff is recommending approval of the conditional use permit with one condition, and that is that the applicant shall instruct clients to avoid parking in front of or blocking mailboxes and neighbor drive approaches, and shall enforce their parking as needed. I want this condition in there just in case there is a problem. Then we have the conditional use permit with some teeth that we can do some enforcement measures if necessary. This item does require a public hearing, and notices were sent to property owners within 200 feet of the subject property. 2 comments were received, one of them from Haley Gonzalez, who is a property owner just south of the proposed Happy Place Daycare, and then another notice or another comment was received from Patrick Siervo. Both of them expressing concerns about the home-based business in the area. Those comments were provided to the Planning Commission. So that's staff's recommendation. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer those for you, and I believe the applicant is here as well to address any questions you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Agard. Any questions from the commission for staff on this item? If not, this item does require a public hearing, so we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing for those who wish to address the topic. They can come forward and talk to you now, and then we'll give the applicant time after that public hearing is closed to address anything. So the public hearing is open. Come on up, Pat.
Good evening, everyone. I think you do have a copy of my email that I sent earlier today expressing a number of concerns. Would you like me to review that in short order, or would you like me to go into detail with my comments?
If you go short order with us already having that email, that would be great,
Okay.
please. And is there a thing to sign your name there as well?
I'm sorry?
Is there a paper there to sign?
No.
Okay. When you're through with your comment, will you go back to see Ms. Fairborn and just write your name down so we have it on record that you commented? Thank you.
Sure, not a problem. You know, I live in the area. We've lived there for 20 years, and I have a concern. We live in a residential area. We don't live in a commercial area. And, you know, I'm concerned that if an approval goes forth here, what's next? And I know the city is going through a lot of development and things of that nature, but we also have residential areas that we need to be concerned about. And I see and I'm concerned about the parking in many respects, especially the staggered, because now there's going to be additional traffic throughout the day. And when there's a question of 8 to 16 individuals, that could be 8 to 16 additional cars. And is it a preschool or is it a daycare? And if it's preschool, is there a morning session and an afternoon session? So are we talking about 16 kids, or are we talking about 32 kids? 16 in the morning and 32 and 16 in the afternoon, that'd be 32. So I do have concern that way. But I'm also concerned about, you know, where these cars are parked, and I saw the picture there. Not so sure I totally agree with the total parking in front of the residence. And on top of that, that picture of that resident is not a current one. If you take a picture of that current property, it's not been taken care of. That property, and I have pictures of it on my phone from today, it's not been, and I know it may be a new resident and everything, but that property has not been well taken care of since there was a divorce a number of years ago with the former owners, and then it was sold. And so I am concerned about, you know, the condition of the property outside. Are they going to take care of that property on the outside, as well as not just make it, you know, for entrances into their daycare and things like that? I would hope that they would try to maintain that property in a prideful way. The other concern I have is when you're bringing that many other people into the community, 16 kids, 16 additional parents. They're walking in the neighborhood now, and that's bringing a lot more traffic onto our properties. And I'm concerned about a liability issue from our standpoint, because what happens when it's snowing, or even worse, ice? What happens if we can't get out and just take care of our property immediately? Now somebody falls on our property. It raises additional liability for those who are in the area immediately right around that. So that is really a concern of mine, because it's putting additional liability on our properties. The other thing is our trash cans. On Thursday, which is our trash pickup, you know, we put our cans in front of our properties. Now, if the truck can't get to those cans, because we never know what time those trucks are coming through, now that if they can't take our trash, now that gets, because of a car being parked there close to the can or whatever. I'm also concerned about noise. When you have 16 kids outside, it's one thing if you have residents and like right next door we have some small children right next door to us, and they're great kids. We love them. However, when you add 16 additional into that particular area, it's going to raise the noise level, and then that's going to get dogs barking. I know my neighbor and we all have dogs, and that's just going to get that all going. And so I am concerned about a noise issue. I'm also concerned about, and there was a picture of that back of the property on 1000 North. That property has not been taken care of by shoveling. And the city is on us all the time to take care of 1000 North in case of snow. Now, we have had problems with the plows and everything, but my property and the property right next door to me, which is in between that property and me, we take care of 1000 North. But when we stop at the end of that property, and we kind of piggyback with them. But that property is consistently never shoveled. So, you know, I have another question. Are they going to, you know, take care of 1000 North? Because that's where the Middle Canyon students are also walking. And the other concern I have is additional trash and everything else, because, on my property, I have a corner property, I do get a lot of trash from the Middle Canyon students. So now we're adding even that many more students and things that may occur from their, not just papers, but also their treats and things of that nature. So, and also if there is also parking across the street, I am concerned about that parking on the other side of the street, because now who's going to monitor those kids crossing the street? Is it the parents? Is it will be the daycare? Will they be picked up? And I really would, I would hope, and I put it in my email about a business plan. I hope that you've looked at their business plan with regarding their model and their plan for some of these things to see if they've been addressed through that business plan. And if it hasn't, that might be something you all may want to take into consideration. Other than that, are there any questions from my behalf?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to come forward and address this item from the public?
Can I make a statement?
Yeah, are you the applicant?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to close the public hearing and then I'll give you a few minutes if that's okay. So I just want to make sure no one else is going to come forward. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing and then we'll invite the applicant to come forward and speak to the things she'd like to. You can come on up to the rostrum, please.
Sorry, just to address some of your concerns, I just want you to know that.
Could you give us your name too, please? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Tina Will.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Will.
To address some of the concerns. I've only been in the house for 3.5 weeks, I think it is, but I've had contractors inside, outside, and I also addressed the parking. I'm also adding 2 more spaces alongside the house. So where that side part is, that's just grass there, that's being concreted in, and we're also putting asphalt from the sidewalk down, so that gives actually 2 more spaces. And it will be addressed with my parents that there's no more than picking up and dropping off more than 2 at a time, because I also have to worry about little ones getting hurt in the driveway. Trash pickup will be picked up. I did already talk to somebody that could come out when winter time, when it's snowing and icing, to make sure that my driveways stay clear. The house is going to look a lot more beautiful than that here pretty soon, but we have a lot of plans to address that. I've already addressed the issues in the backyard. That's all been graded down, cleared down, and we got 3-inch mats of grass to lay out. First, they're going to bring some dirt to level it and then put the grass out, because it is not just my home, but it's my business, and I am in charge of little people and keeping them safe. So the home is actually, everywhere I've ever moved in, they're like, ooh, it looks so much nicer. So the home is going to, if anything, it's going to be better. It's going to be bigger, it's going to be better. And it does offer up childcare for people that are in the area. And a lot of the people that have already addressed me about daycare actually live in the neighborhood, so they're not really going, further to go get their kid and pick them back up again. They're actually in the area, and it's convenient for them to pick up and to drop off. So I don't know, I forgot what else he said, but I did add a lot of other things. I mean, we have solar power, we have water softener systems put in. We've done everything we could think of that actually would be safe for the kids. Gates have gone up on the front. Noise, as far as noise now, I have just certain times that I take the kids out during the day, so they're not out all day. They're out, 30 minutes maybe in the morning and 30 minutes later in the afternoon if it's, if the weather permits. My neighbors, I've already talked to them, and they're both fine with me running daycare. So they have children of their own, which are loud. So they have children of their own, and they're perfectly fine with it. I don't think there's going to be a lot of noise from going outside. Like I said, I do have 6-foot vinyl fencing all the way around and grass that they'll be playing on. So I'm trying to remember everything else that he had mentioned. I just wanted to take those concerns and show you that I don't think it's going to be an issue with anything. And it is my home. I'm not going to allow
trash be outside or, you know, anything left outside. And I do have a rule of not coming in with food or leaving with food because for one, they're coming in and it's dirty and they might leave trash in the driveway. But I feel I've addressed everything. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I have a license. I can show you that I licensed for 16 in Arkansas. I moved here. We were thinking Colorado, and then my brother-in-law's from here, and he said, you should check out Tooele. And when I looked at houses, I saw all the beautiful mountains, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I took a trip out here, and I chose Tooele over it, but I've been doing this, like I said, for over 20 years. I was doing daycare before there even was a licensing. So I was one of the first registered in the state that I was at when that came up. But I do have helpers, and like I said, I've done this for a lot of years. I know how to run my programs. I have a handbook for the parents that everything's run on a time schedule. So we're taking kids out at a certain time, we're bringing them in at a certain time, we're doing circle time. They keep busy. They're not going to be just making noise and outside, you know, causing problems. But anyway, that's all I think. If you all have any more questions, I mean, I'll be glad to answer them. But I do plan to license up with the city also, and be with the food program and with Better, well, they don't have Better Beginnings there. They have a different name, but with the curriculum program. So I'm not just somebody watching kids just to make money. I'm also trying to teach them. And I hope that, you know, this will be something that we can work out to where it's a benefit to the community, and it also continues my lifelong quest of running a bigger group of daycare. So,
Thank you, Ms. Will.
you're welcome.
Any questions from the commission for the applicant? Okay, if not, we'll bring this back to the commission for any further discussion, or I'll entertain a motion.
Just a question for Andrew, if I might. You mentioned adding the condition regarding instructing clients about parking. Does the language that you've given us on the agenda give you enough to enforce should you need to? I'm assuming you wouldn't have submitted it if it didn't, but.
What do you mean by language on the agenda?
Well, on the recommendation.
In the packet.
On the recommendation?
Yep.
It should include that condition. You should be good to go with that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, concerns from the commission?
I'll make a motion.
Commissioner Proctor.
I move we approve the conditional use permit request by Tooele to authorize the use of the child care and preschool involving 8 to 16 children to occur at 647 East, 980 North, application number 2025-056, based on the findings of subject to conditions in the staff report dated June 19th, 2025.
There's a motion for approval by Commissioner Proctor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Hamilton. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll take it to a vote. Commissioner Hammer.
Aye.
Commissioner Proctor.
Aye.
Commissioner Sloan.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jensen.
Aye.
Commissioner Anderson.
Aye.
Chair also votes aye. That conditional use permit is approved 7-0. Next on the agenda, the City Council reports. Councilmember Manzione.
Hello, Commissioners. I have just a couple of things to report on from our meeting last week. We did approve the city budget, so it's online. If you haven't looked at it, you should look at it. It's a good budget. Of course, it's a balanced budget because that's the law. We did not raise taxes, and in fact are letting the tax rate drop, so that's a decrease of about 3.5%. In taxes, we cannot account for home values, but our tax rate is dropping. And we approved our final budget for last fiscal year. And then we also approved the rezone into light industrial on 249 East, 1000 North. I think you guys had that at your last meeting. And then we approved to put some bathrooms in. This is just for your information at Glen Eagles Park and Veterans Park. I think they're definitely long needed. So yeah, that'll be exciting.
Saving me about $1,000 an event. So.
Yeah, it saves the city some money also in the long run. So that's good news. And that's all I have to report, unless you have some questions for me.
Thank you. Any questions for Councilmember Manzione? Okay.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Marisa. Next, the review and decision on the minutes for the meeting held on June 11th, 2025. Any discussion, edits, fixes to those minutes? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve those.
Motion. Oh, there you go. Go ahead. I'll second.
Moved that we approve the minutes by Commissioner Jensen, seconded by Commissioner Hamilton. Take that to a vote. Commissioner Hammer.
Aye.
Commissioner Proctor.
Aye.
Commissioner Sloan.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
Commissioner Jensen.
Aye.
Commissioner Anderson.
Aye.
Chair also votes aye. Those minutes are approved. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.
Quick and easy. Yep. I like it.